Do you ever feel like your business is running you instead of the other way around? You're juggling sales, customer service, operations, but no matter how hard you work, it feels like things are always on the edge of falling apart. What if you could step back, stop scrambling, and have your business run smoothly without you having to hold it together all the time? Hi, I'm Angela. I spent over 10 years in corporates and more than 13 years running my own businesses, including video graphics. I used to work around the clock just to keep my business afloat, until I discovered the power of systems. Think of a business like a machine. Right now, you might be manually cranking every gear, just trying to keep things moving. Systemization allows you to put the right processes in place so your business runs like a well-oiled machine with or without you. That's when you unlock real freedom and can choose whether to keep working in the business or to focus on other priorities. By applying systems, I gradually built a small team to manage different areas, freeing me up from constant firefighting. This gave me the space to focus on strategy and systemize even more parts of the business, so I could stabilize and scale it over time. It took me years of research to figure out the best ways to systemize and scale my business. I combined and adapted ideas from various systems into a 4-step process that's ideal for small businesses that are just starting their systemization journey. And that's what I'll be sharing with you in this video. But to be honest, I'm still on the journey. I freed myself from some aspects of the business, but not all of it. That's why I invited David Jenyns, who has successfully systemized and sold his business, to share his insights from his Systemology method. His approach is ideal for businesses with a small team and a product market fit, and it has strongly influenced my approach. So, if you are still in the early stages, struggling to delegate and replicate yourself, start with the 4-step process, which I'll be walking through very shortly. But once you have a team in place, you can use David's Systemology to take things even further, creating a business that can run without you. You can find links and resources on Systemology in the description below. So, how can you stop being so busy working in your business and free up time to work on the business instead? Let's dive right in. The first of the 4 Ds is define. The reality is you don't need to document everything in your business. So where do you focus? Different experts recommend different approaches around this, and I personally found David's Systemology approach to be the most intuitive. He recommends that you identify just 10 to 15 of the most crucial processes that keep the business running and bring in the revenue. David calls this the critical client flow, and here's his advice on how to get started.
It's a very simple exercise. You just get an A4 bit of paper, and in the top left-hand corner, you'll write down who your target client is. You'll also write down the primary product or service that you sell. And with that in mind, you want to capture in like a workflow diagram format what you're currently doing. How do those inquiries come into your business? How do you onboard that client into the business to get them started to deliver the product or service? How do you actually deliver the product or service? And then how do you get them to come back? Don't capture what you would like to be doing, just what you're currently doing, because tremendous wins can be gained by just making your business more repeatable, by capturing what you're doing and then being able to delegate that on.
By following these steps, you get a clear view of the most important processes that drive your business success. This forms the foundation for your systemization journey. For example, my business Reading Graphics offers visual summaries for top personal development and business books. Some of our critical processes include summary writing and delivery, SEO and digital marketing, client onboarding and experience, as well as customer care. With these processes in mind, I can map out the client journey and expand on other important processes like managing marketing promotions and billing and finance. Here's a rough sample. When you have that 1-page map of the most critical parts of your business, you're ready for the next step, which is to document them. Don't worry, we won't be creating complex manuals. The goal is to simply capture what's already happening in your business. For each of the critical processes that we've defined in step 1, identify the person who knows it the best, whether it's you or a team member, and record the process the next time it's being done. But what should we capture in the first place? From my experience, it's important to capture not just the essential steps, but also the 20% of actions that deliver 80% of the impact. So, the next time you or the knowledgeable team member works on a task, just record the process. If you have a team, this is where David's Systemology can really help you. And he recommends finding a key person on the team to anchor the process.
So you want to identify someone on the team, and we call that person a systems champion, who can help to support the knowledgeable team members. If in the first step in the critical client flow that I identified, we're talking about what needs to get done, then we start to think about, well, who knows how to do those tasks? And we pair those person together with the systems champion as a way for going, great. Now, knowledgeable person, you show the systems champion how you're doing that particular step, and let's capture that, record that, and then it becomes the systems champion's job to actually do the documentation. Now, fortunately, this has never been easier. With a lot of changes in the AI space, ChatGPT means that we can create documentation at extraordinary speed. We can record a task being done, we can take the transcription of that task being done, feed it into ChatGPT, and then get it to draft out that process. And then finally, your systems champion can do a little bit of a process to polish it up and get it ready to share it with the team.
Ideally, you should have one person compiling everything for consistency. Identify someone on your team or hire a new member who's already familiar with tools like Loom, Zoom, Notion, Google Drive, or ChatGPT, and knows how to organize them into a central depository that other team members can easily access and update. At Read in Graphics, we used Google Drive as our central depository initially, but as your team matures, you can explore more advanced systems to keep things organized. But what if you're working solo? If you're just starting out, documentation is still important. In my case, it was especially useful when I started to recruit new members to my team. I adapted this process early on when I was still handling everything myself. For example, when I was hiring my customer service executive, I recorded everything that I did for the role, including screen recordings, email templates, and screenshots of the critical steps. By the time I posted the job, I had a clear documentation in place, which made it so much easier to find and train the right person. In fact, my customer care champion is still with us today, and she used the same approach to train her assistant. By the end of this step, you'll have a baseline documentation of your most critical processes, and you're ready to move on to the next step, which is to actually use the documentation. You start seeing the real value of your documentation when you deploy these processes. But it's normal to face some resistance at first, because people might feel like the old way of doing things was just fine. Some people are also worried that they might lose their jobs once everything is properly documented. Even when you're documenting your own processes as a solopreneur, you might find it awkward initially to try and use your own documentation as a guide when you're used to doing things on the fly. That's why it's important to remind everyone, including yourself, of the benefits. As David says,
it's one thing to have all of your processes documented, it's another to actually get your team to follow it. Help them to understand how documenting these systems and processes and following a systemized approach inside your business is going to benefit them. Show them how work will get done more easily. There'll be less errors. They'll be able to move up in your organization. Not to mention, great systems and processes mean that team members can have a holiday and know that the leadership team or the business owner isn't going to be calling them up to chase them up where particular work is and the status of different projects, because there is a system there, meaning we can plug another team member in who can then go ahead and continue to do their work while they're on holidays.
Can you see how your team members would want these benefits? I remind my team that the goal is to do the same work in less time, so they are freed up to focus on more valuable tasks and can take holidays without having to worry about work. It's really important to show them the benefits, not just tell them. For example, your systems champion can create checklists from the documented processes so team members can have an easier time remembering the important steps. You can also get feedback from the team on how to make these resources even more useful, practical, and accurate, so they can actually do the work in less time and experience the benefits firsthand. For example, this is a document that we collaboratively update with our editing team on Growth Garden. As business owners, we also benefit from systemization because it helps us to delegate more effectively. If you are a solopreneur, then having your processes documented will make it so much easier to bring in new help. Instead of explaining everything each time you hire someone, you have the documentation to help them hit the ground running. Remember, systems are not supposed to be rigid. They provide structure and consistency, so it's easier, not harder, to refine your processes. This helps to build a culture where people continuously refine and enhance the way they work. Which brings us to the next step, design. In the design phase, the focus shifts to optimizing your systems so they can grow with your business. It's like continually refining the gears of a machine to keep it running at peak performance. After deploying your systems, step back and evaluate what's working and what can be improved. Are there bottlenecks or inefficiencies? Are the systems helping your team, or are there areas where people are getting stuck? Could specific problems and scenarios be addressed by new processes? Collect feedback from your team regularly to answer these questions. At the same time, identify key metrics at the company, team, and individual levels to track how well your systems are actually performing. As your business grows, your systems must also evolve. What worked for a team of 3 might not work when you have a team of 10 or 30. So we must regularly review and adjust our systems to keep up with the business's changing needs. This might also mean exploring new tools and technology to support your growing team. The key is to continuously optimize your processes so your business can run smoothly and can thrive as you scale. So as I explained earlier, these 4 steps are my simplified version to get started on business systemization. I still have some way to go before Reading Graphics can run without me, and I've been studying David's Systemology for the next phase. If you're wondering what happens at the end of the systemization process, let's hear from David on how Systemization helped one of his clients to achieve freedom and scale.
A great example of this at play and not overthinking it is a client of ours called Ryan Stannard, and he runs a building construction company for residential homes here in Adelaide, Australia. He's a self-confessed high school dropout who just said, hey, I know systems and processes are important, and just followed the process. Most importantly, he identified his systems champion. Her name's Erin. She works inside the organization. She's probably one of the most knowledgeable team members throughout the organization because she works with all of the different team members to find out what they're doing and extract it and organize it and document it and get it into a central location. This has been a game changer for Ryan's business, as I know it will be for your business. Just on the Christmas just past, Ryan took 7 weeks off over Christmas, and his business continued to function as normal, and the team kept doing what they needed to do and knew that they should be doing because it was all outlined in the processes.
So there you are, a simple 4-step process to start systemizing your business and reclaiming your time and freedom. These 4 steps can be applied by anyone, even a solopreneur, so long as you have some established processes in your business. They are a great starting point to streamline your operations, delegate tasks, and free yourself from the daily grind to focus on what truly matters. More importantly, don't wait. Start applying these ideas today to progressively free yourself, move up the value curve, and eventually gain your freedom. As your team grows, you need to adopt a more robust approach to capture and refine your systems. And that's where Systemology comes in with a detailed 7-step guide to help you organize your business with the support of a systems champion. We've only just scratched the surface of David's method in this video, but you'll find the links to the Systemology book summary in the description, as well as details of how to connect with David's team for more information. We'll also be releasing an expanded video with David sharing more about his systemization journey. So don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button to know when the video drops. Thanks again to David for sharing his insights, and thanks to you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.